Okay, thank you very much, councillors. Welcome to the Bexhill Town Council Engagement and Communication Committee meeting. And first item on the agenda is public participation. We have no members of the public here today, and so therefore we move straight on to receive apologies for absence.
Okay, so we have Councillor Hussain who's working tonight and Councillor Winter is attending in another meeting. Okay,
everybody okay to accept those apologies?
Indeed.
Okay, moving on then. Item 3, to receive any pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests.
Declare as member of Rother District Council.
Duly noted. Anybody else? Okay. Item 4, Chairman's announcements. I have no announcements to make, and therefore we go to item 5, which are the minutes. And am I authorised to sign the minutes from the 2nd of October as a proper account of that meeting?
You are indeed.
Councillor, another seconder for that. Councillor Thomas. Thank you very much. Bear with me while I just sign them off.
Shall I just say at this point, Chairman, that I didn't agree to that myself?
Didn't agree to what?
To the minutes.
We should have said.
Oh, you didn't ask if anyone didn't agree?
I did. I said, yeah. Am I right to sign these off as a proper account of the meeting?
Okay, I was shaking my head, but you didn't look up. Well, okay.
Oh, okay. So what would you like to say then?
Well, I just wanted to be really clear about the questions from councillors last time. When I asked a question, and that is not the question that I asked. This says that I inquired why the town council had chosen to endorse the victim support charity. So I didn't even know about them, or that was a thing, or that's what it was called. That wasn't what I asked. What I actually asked, and I did check back on the recording of this, is that why, could anyone explain why it was on our website when none of the councillors knew about it? That's what I was trying to get at. Why was it on the website when no councillors knew about it? So I wasn't inquiring why we hadn't endorsed, why we'd chosen to endorse that. I didn't know the council had endorsed it.
Okay. Have you looked at the answer that was being received that's on the agenda?
Yes, here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that not answer your question?
Well, it does say that by participating in this initiative, the council sought to raise awareness, and which, you know, it sounds great, and I'm sure that would be correct if the council were aware of it. But as you know, I wrote to all the councillors, nobody knew anything about it. So I don't know, did I miss it? Was it in a meeting that I missed where you endorsed it? I don't know.
It's probably something that most councillors weren't aware, because a lot of the councillors don't bother going onto our website and looking at our website.
Yeah, I just wondered if it had been run past the council and I'd missed it. Generally, that could have happened.
It's a situation where we get lots of items that come from East Sussex, from Rother, and not one of them is run through the council because they're standard information points that every council is putting on their website.
I can help you to I sent it to all councillors on the 22nd of October at 10:54 and explain. Oh no, that was my response to you. There's a whole email chain of where I started. So when I receive anything like this, for where requests from charities and to put things on our website, I send them to all the councillors and say what I'm going to do with it.
Okay.
So I sent it to everybody and said I'm going to put it on the website. And I sent it on to Joey, and she put it on the website.
Well, that's
how we recollection is so that you explained it completely.
Yeah.
The chain from county, you disseminating information,
and that's how we operate. So I send it all to council. All correspondence that comes into the council, I send to all councillors, regardless of a committee. So it goes to the whole full council, and then I tell you what I'm going to do with that information. And if it fits with our policy, which exists, then I will share it. If it doesn't fit with our policy, then I won't share it.
Well, I would just like to say that I accept that, and I obviously missed that email, which otherwise I wouldn't still be here asking the question. I did only ask it because I was asked by somebody else, and in fact 2 people, and so I totally accept that, and I apologise for not picking up that email about it, but I do think we could have ironed that out a little bit earlier than now, but I just had to say that because I didn't, you know, that wasn't my question, and that's the only reason I said no to the minutes. Thanks for dealing with it.
So I'll have to put this to the vote then. All those in favour of me signing for the minutes of the 2nd of October as a correct account of those meetings, please raise your hands.
I believe them to be a correct account.
And you're raising your hand to that as well. 3. That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What was the date today for?
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to item 6 on the agenda, 5-year strategy. 6A, and this is to receive the Marketing and Communication Officer's job specification. This was given out ahead of the meeting on Appendix B. And any comments? No?
I'll start.
Yes.
I think brilliant, yes, we should do it. It's one of the pieces of the jigsaw that's being missed at the moment. My only comment is, should there be a strap line at the bottom that says that, and anything else in accordance with an agreement with the town clerk? Because otherwise we might restrict ourselves if that role changes at some point and other things evolve. It's quite often standard to put something like that in there. I couldn't see it.
I will pass to the clerk to see whether that's a...
I didn't think it was necessary for that role, because I don't really want this role getting involved in other things, because that's what goes wrong, isn't it? We have a role, they have something to do for, say, communication, and then they get dragged into something else and they don't do the comms.
Say so, Julie.
You're saying...
That protects it.
But you're saying as a council that you think this role is so important to this council. I don't think you should dilute it by allowing them to be involved in anything else. I think you ring fence it.
We're not allowing it, we're saying you can allow it.
Okay, I think you should ring fence it and keep it just for comms. So when there's an event, they can't be pulled away to do a road closure. They're there for comms, and that's how it should be. Because the message I've got from you as a council is that it's essential. So I wouldn't want to dilute it, really. Just my view.
If there's no further comments, I'd like to put this to the vote
just a small comment in that, bearing in mind our previous discussions about do we run events or not, I thought the wording was such that it did say he's a coordinator, not an event organiser. Is everyone happy that that's fully endorses that position? I thought it did. I'm just checking to see if everyone was...
I believe it does when you say key responsibilities, event coordination.
Yeah. I'm still slightly surprised, Julie, that if we said it's at your discretion whether he moves or not, it gives it flexibility. It doesn't say we could move, but it doesn't say we could vote him to do something else. It actually gives you final say on exactly what he does, and as Chairman said, if circumstances should change, you wouldn't have to come to council to say, I'd like to deploy this person on this for these special things. I mean, I'm happy to leave it the way you want it, but I'm surprised you see it in that way.
Okay, could be a man or a woman, could be a he or a she or a they.
No, I wasn't talking about
and
that.
What the thing about the operational running of the council is, all of those staffing decisions rest solely with me.
Correct.
So I wouldn't need to come back to you to make any
that's
decisions.
what I'm saying.
So I don't need to add anything in, because all those decisions of day to day are my responsibility. I wouldn't come back and report back or talk to you about...
But you're objecting to that line saying it's your responsibility.
I
don't understand why.
Because it already exists. It's already my responsibility under the scheme of delegation to manage the staff.
Okay.
So yeah, but it exists in the...
We're angels dancing on a pin here, aren't we, at the moment? So, never mind.
Just another couple of points, if I may, Chair. Where are we going to advertise the job? Are we going to be using the likes of LinkedIn? And I'm assuming that the salary attached to that is in the preset that was agreed last month's full council.
I will pass that to the clerk.
Yeah, we don't use LinkedIn as a social media platform for the council currently. We advertise the jobs through Indeed and on the council's website and social media platforms, and we also put it onto the East Sussex Association of Local Councils. If we think that we need more wider coverage, we go to NALC, but considering we need this to be a local job, I think ESALC and Indeed will give you enough coverage for that type of role.
Sounds fine.
I'm surprised we don't use LinkedIn, because the majority of people who are in a business environment have a LinkedIn profile, and that's where people are looking for jobs these days. Indeed is a little bit sluggish for employment, from what I understand and from talking to people who look for jobs on a regular basis. But if that's the decision, then it's just another opportunity that is used with a lot of councils, LinkedIn, and it might encourage somebody who's qualified, because when you look at that job description, it's a qualification behind it, and if you haven't got that, you won't be considered. So it's not just a minimum wage job, it's a lot more than that, which would be more suited to LinkedIn than Indeed. Just asking the question, that's all.
Okay, are we okay to endorse this? I'll ask for the votes.
What are we exactly, are we voting on
Accepting the...
on the Mayor's amendment that we include LinkedIn in the places that we advertise?
I wasn't aware that it was an amendment, it was a question.
I don't think I can do an amendment. It's just I'm ex officio in this, so I can't really. I'm just suggesting, I guess. Maybe best ignore it and see what happens. If we don't get anyone suitable, then we can.
It's a tried and tested route from local government avenues in this area, so
In
it's
favour?
not so.
Yeah.
In favour of what?
You just said, can we move to a vote?
Oh, we'll move to a vote, right, okay then. Okay, we're going to move to a vote, so Councillor Burns has proposed. I've got a seconder for that, Councillor Blagrove seconded it. All those in favour, please raise your hands. And that's carried unanimously, thank you very much. Okay, item 7 on the agenda is regalia. Various notes on this. 7A, just to note, there is no further updates on the mayoral cushions for St Peter's Church. We have been trying to make contact with St Peter's Church, but the communications don't seem to be getting through to them at the moment. So we will endeavour to iron that one out in due course. 7B, we have got a mayoral cadet and a standard bearer in place now. Those of you that are at the remembrance service would have seen that we had a standard bearer in there, had to step in at the last minute, but we have now got an official standard bearer.
We also, Chair, did a presentation to the mayoral cadet with a, I don't know the technical term, a stick.
Yeah, we're not too sure what I don't know if it's a baton or a stick.
A cane.
Oh, it's a cane.
Thank you. So he's got an official cane as well, which makes him look even more part than what he is.
Yeah, and I believe there is something in place quite soon where both parties will be being officially recognised as well. But that will be given to us in due course, a date for that. Item 7C, to note that the Town Hall Memorial Board, we've been told it's not possible to put any additions onto that, because we had wanted to add on that we've now got a town council and then place the mayor's names since we've been formed as a town council. We have been told that we can't do that, and we are looking into who actually owns the board, because we are led to believe that the boards are owned by us, although they're in the location of the town hall, and we're seeking confirmation on that as to whether we can put a name up there. Councillor Barry.
I think that'll probably be overtaken by events with the local government reorganisation, and it may well be that board, we end up as custodians of that board being the only Bexhill authority if Rutland District Council ceases to exist. So I wouldn't spend too much time on it until we get the white paper, until we get some indication of the new structure.
Yeah,
otherwise, I'm with you in terms of it will be nice to have.
Yeah, we are looking into it. Councillor Bowler.
It would be nice to have one. I realise that the mayors that we've had aren't on a board, and I think they should be. Could we get our own, or could we utilise some of the boards we've already got and do anything with them?
It's something we could look into, and no doubt we can sort of find out where we can locate that board as well. Maybe I should have declared an interest on this particular item. But it's something we will be looking into. As to we're trying to work this avenue out first, and if we find out that we cannot do anything with the board, then it will come back and we'll see where we go with that. Moving on, item 8, communications. It's just to note that following councillors, Councillor Crotty, Drayson, Hampton, Hussain and Jacqueline have still to submit photos or have their photographs taken for press and media purposes. This has been outstanding since they were elected in May, so we're just waiting for that to follow through. 8B.
Can I just say, Chair, I find it really disappointing that my colleagues as councillors can't get a photograph to 8 o'clock in today's age. And it's like, I don't want my face anywhere near the town council, and it just sends out the wrong message to residents that a simple thing like that we can't do. And what can we do? There must be a way that we can make them, force them, tell them again.
No,
and it's like, what's the why? Why can they not do that? Because there's 5, the other 13 have done it successfully, and it's. Sorry, I'm disappointed.
I share your frustration over the situation we're in. Councillor Blagrove.
So do I. But I just wanted to say that somebody sent me one of them that's in one of the boards, and it quite frankly looks dreadful when you've got 2 empty spaces, or even one empty space. At least we can, you know, we should have our photographs in by now.
Yep, quite agree. Councillor Thomas.
Yes, I have my photograph taken here. Couldn't we arrange sort of a photo session at a full council meeting?
We have done on several occasions.
And yet we still...
I popped into the hub and Julie took one with her phone.
Yes.
Could we ask what reasons they've got? Maybe they've got reasons if they're not doing it.
This could be the next step, that we ask for reasons why they're not doing it, because surely it doesn't show the council in a light, but it really doesn't show them in a good light either. But that's up to them to consider.
Does standing orders have anything to say on that?
No.
Okay. But recently at district, we were asked to consider the fact that councillors no longer have to publish their addresses if they don't wish to.
Mm-hmm.
So sadly, the position of the councillors appears to be getting more and more fraught. Or it could be if you're not very friendly.
People do need a face, though. They need a face to relate to, not an empty space.
Oh no, I agree totally. I'm just examining whether, or exploring whether there is anything within standing orders whereby we could require councillors to do it. However, in the light of what we've just heard at district, which is you're no longer required to publish your address, my guess is there isn't any statute or any instrument we could use to require councillors to give us a photograph if they didn't need to.
Maybe we could, Chair, ask for an email to be sent to the 5 that haven't, to ask them to either pop into the hub or have their photograph taken after the next full council meeting.
Well, Councillor Drayson, its photograph is on as a district councillor, so I don't see why he wouldn't. I'm sure that's just a...
If we give them some options, it might encourage them.
Would that be logistically possible?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you want a motion for that, or would that be okay too? Yep. Okay, we will get that sorted out. Sort of linked, because it is within communication still as well. 8B, to consider other ways to engage with residents. I will pass on to Councillor Wilson, who no doubt has got some thoughts on this.
Well, I have, and we do struggle with residents coming here, and we know that there is a limited take-up on people looking at the videos. It's how we can do further engagement as a town council. And I've been talking to other chairs and past chairs today, and some do like fortnightly surgeries in one place under like a gazebo, and there's a rota of councillors, so there's 18 of us if you have to have 2 there, you've only got to do it, if you did it every fortnight, once every 18 weeks. We could do something like that in Devonshire Square, so everybody would then know, you get some passing traffic. We use Bexhill News, we've got notice boards. I think the agreement of the marketing will help, because I don't think up until now we use our social media exposure as well as it could be used in today's climate. I just think we've got to look at, and if you take, before there was a town council, there used to be 3 Bexhill Town Forum events where residents will come along and you get on average 120 people there. There's always been talk of the town council doing that, but it's never been the right time. And maybe with the marketing and the that side of it being bolstered, we could look at doing that type of thing as a town council, because we know what people think of us, and we've got to be in a position where we can show what we've done, stand on the rooftops and shout what we've done and how well we've done it. At the moment, we don't really have an avenue to do that. So there's been one open forum which you chaired at North Iron. I don't know how many hundreds turned up, but it was a very sensitive scenario. You wouldn't get that many, but it shows that if you do something, then people will turn up if they think it's of interest. So, and I think we've got to be a little bit more forceful in advertising the stuff. I'm not criticising anything that's happened in the previous 3.5 years. That was the 3.5 years. We're where we are now. And we are, this year, there's been a lot of real positives that this town council has done. And I wouldn't have an issue with standing in front of residents and shouting from the rooftops what we have done. Up until now, it's really been processes, getting things in place, blah, blah, blah. Now we're making things happen. So I think we've got to look at something like that. Whether it needs a panel or something to come up with some ideas, or whether we wait until the marketing person is employed, I don't know. I'm not on this committee, but I'm just sharing my thoughts over what we could do.
Yeah. Your point about the forum's a good one. We have statutory duties to have an annual general meeting where we do have an open floor there. Unfortunately, we only have a handful of people turn up for that meeting. It needs to be sort of thought on. I'm going to go around the table because Councillor Blagrave's got a hand up and had it.
Okay, so I should probably declare a little interest before I say what I'm going to say, because there used to be a forum in Bexhill. I used to attend it, and myself and Councillor Wilson were members, and it was good. You know, as he said, 100 and odd people would turn up and they'd have their say on what was going on in the town, and I think they deserved that. And I certainly know that it was suggested that the town council done one, but we've been going for 3 and a bit years or whatever it is now, and we haven't done one. And I personally have tried to get people to council. I think asking people to come to council is different than a forum, which has got a different flavour to it. And so, you know, it didn't take me long to work out that we need one. And so I have opened something called the Rother Forum, and this will start in February. I've chosen a nice central base for it, and I really look forward to, a letter will go out to all the councils soon, to invite them to come and speak on different things. It's like yourself and the post office. Last meeting we were in, you'd asked if, you know, you could do a talk, and you couldn't do that. And so I was thinking how great that would be, because people in this town want to know about the post office. You know, I have things like toilets on there, but you know what? There are so many people that don't even know anything about the toilets because they're not on social media, they don't buy the newspaper, and they just don't know. And I want people to, when they leave, that they say, oh, that's why that happened. You know, a nice explanation to inform people. And I really hope councillors will get involved in it, not open another forum. You know, we don't need too many. It's like a bus, isn't it, to come along at once. I have done everything I can to make this a good thing for Bexhill and a bridge to the people, because I've got enough time to market that and get people there. It's not so official as a council. So I'd just like to say that. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Band.
I'm a bit surprised. I think, first of all, yes, Town Forum, absolutely. I was chair of the Town Forum briefly, if you remember. And I was going to bring to the next full council a motion suggesting that we schedule 2 Town Forum style meetings under the auspices of the Bexhill Town Council, and that we invite representatives from Rother and from District, and if possible our MP, and maybe someone from the Town Board, certainly someone from the Chamber. But I would worry slightly that it was something not endorsed by the Town Council. I really feel the Town Council should be the prime mover in this, not one individual. Because that speaks of some sort of division. I'm over here doing this, but hang on, you're also a town councillor. I intend to bring the motion to the council. I don't quite understand why you didn't do that. That would seem to me to be the proper and formal way of doing it. So just be aware that I'm going to table a motion at the next council meeting suggesting 2 such forum meetings. And maybe a little while in, I'll talk to Julie about how specific we need to be at this stage in terms of format. So that's all I was going to say. I really feel that having another organisation that purports to represent Bexhill other than the Bexhill Town Council is bad news.
I think we've all got to be very astute to the fact that in May there's county elections. And so various political groupings will be getting together wanting to voice their views and their political fronts for the purposes of electioneering. And so it'd be very difficult to sort of start up a forum within that period. So where we're looking now in December, by the time we went through our motions and put something in place, we'd probably be slap bang in the middle of that PERDA period. So
I don't
maybe we got to look a little bit further ahead in the year.
I don't see that as a problem. In fact, to have people wishing, if someone wishes to use it as a political platform, you'll find that they get short shrift from the audience, like we did at the forum. People will say, you know, let's have none of that. We want to talk about Bexhill, and we want to hear from people. And you can have a panel of experts, but what you find in a town forum is very often there's someone in the audience who can, you know, grab the microphone and say, well, actually, I belong to this and we are doing that. So you enfranchise more people than just your so-called panel of experts. But succinctly, I like the idea. I think February and maybe October will be a good time. I take your point on electioneering, but I do intend to bring that to council, and I hope people will vote for it. But I will, the way it's worded, I'll try and include your nuance on that as well.
Okay. Councillor Thomas.
Yes, I think something along the lines of BBC's question time, where people can put in questions, but also the general public can offer their comments as well as...
That was how the forum ran. I don't know if you ever attended the forum. Did you ever attend the town forum?
No.
Oh, okay. It was very similar to that.
Yeah, very, very similar. I chaired the town forum for 2 years, and then had a break for 2 years, and then chaired it for another couple of months after that for a short period.
Various of us were involved with the town forum.
It was, and that was because there was no town council.
Yes.
And so it was a lot of people. Sort of, it became a place where people basically went to bash Rother over the head and demand town council, and that's how it sort of came about. Now, that is what the annual town meeting is. It's a forum, but we don't have people participate. So we've got a vehicle there that we can utilise. It's just we need to make publicity around it and encourage people to come to that meeting. So, yeah, that might be the step forward. Councillor Baygrove.
Can I just assure you that, of course, your fears about people using it for electioneering are very valid. How I look at this is, although I am a councillor, I'm not doing this as a councillor. This is not political.
Why
this
not?
is no. This is community.
Why not?
Because I am not actually going to play the part that you think I am, or people may think I am. Let me finish. It is non-political. People will not be able to electioneer in there the same way that they're not allowed to do that in my Facebook groups. And there are rules. Obviously, I'm just a female that's going to put this on as a member of, and a resident of the town. This is all done with a good intention, and you know, I will fund it myself, I will run it myself, I will run it correctly and well. And there is nobody that I'm going to allow to ruin that, because it's for the people. So it's almost like an invitation to come there. I've got people now writing in saying, can we reserve 2 seats? Which
Point of order, Chair.
that didn't happen
This has
before.
nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'm talking about the consider ways to engage with residents from the town council.
Okay.
Yes,
It's kind of
you're
it's
right.
kind of
We
run
have
on.
diverse slightly.
I do
Diverse
understand that, but I just
Thank you
want
very
to be very certain with all of you,
Okay.
because it sounds to me like 2 more forums might start up. The more the merrier.
So you're going ahead no matter what?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move on and get back to the actual engagement.
Yep.
Now, I think we could be focusing on the annual general meeting on that particular aspect of that. Annual town meeting, rather.
Could we
aspect of that.
not reword, because you have to call it an annual town meeting, but
Yeah, we do.
advertise it differently and say that's your forum, and then have one in March and one in September, because the date's already lined up for the March one.
Yeah.
And we have 2 a year, and then it shows that I'm going to do what I just said as a point of order, but if you have a forum run by an individual, they've got no power, no influence, no nothing, and the people that give answers won't necessarily be qualified to give answers on things that they may or may not know they're talking about. Whereas if there's an official one line up, which will be after February, then that will then put us in a better position as far as our spreading the word of what we've done and open the doors for more communication with residents. We have to try something, because the annual general meeting, generally, people that turn up are those that are going to get an award.
Yeah.
We don't get any others.
Yeah.
So we need to expand that and involve other people, is my view.
We have got another meeting in February. That will be ahead of our annual general meeting we're going. We will then be looking to see how that's going to be structured. We'll get the information, how that's going to be structured, and then we can work on that, and then possibly put a motion in after or at that meeting ready for the September one, should we wish to do that in February. So it's the timeline's there ready for that, should we wish to do it. Councillor Blago.
Can I just touch on what Councillor Wilson said about videos and, you know, the amount of people that look on them? I spend all my life on social media, and I often go onto YouTube and look at 20 videos a day of whatever's interesting me. I don't subscribe every time. It doesn't mean that because we don't have the subscribers, although the number is going up on the subscribers for the Bexhill Town Council, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's the only people that see it, because then I bring it over and share that, and people share that, you know, so it sort of ripples out anyway. But I think quite a lot of people are taking more of an interest now.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I think. Is there any other aspects of communication that we can engage in with residents?
Gazebo fortnightly with a rota for councillors to be sitting there for.
We have tried this on several occasions. We've asked people to sort of come into. In fact, the town clerk has rearranged the office there in order to have a desk at the front. So if anyone wishes to speak to residents, they can quite well do so.
Do you mean in the hub? Sorry, do you mean in the hub as like instead of a surgery?
Yeah.
It will be a
surgery.
Oh, it'll be a
Yeah,
surgery.
Yeah, we could do that.
So we could do that on a fortnightly basis and do a rota for councillors?
We could put a rota forward. Whether we want to put that forward for the new year, I'll ask the clerk about the logistics of that. Would that be possible?
That's why we set it up, Chair. So we were asked some time ago to make the space available in front of the hub for councillors to meet residents. So we did that, we updated everyone. We haven't had any requests for surgery, so I'll put out a request to councillors and remind them if they'd like to run a surgery, they need to let me know timings and things like that.
The facilities are there, yes. So
Yeah, if we're not using it, then it's another avenue that we could use.
Exactly.
Councillor Timothy and I, and Ellie Gibson and Claire Baldry and Ian Hollidge all had a combined surgery in Bexhill Station. That worked very well because people could get coffee and things, but that was very much focused on our ward. But yes, it works. You tend to get the usual suspects. Or people who are already informed. The previous CEO of Rother had a wonderful phrase. He said the problem about the hard to reach people is they're hard to reach, and you can tap every channel you want, but people have a habit of ignoring. No, I don't do media, I don't do this, I don't read the papers. On why don't I know about this? Well, there's a reason you don't know about it. You're not interested enough to try and find out. But people still need to feel that it's not them coming to us, we will come to them and offer information rather than necessarily requiring them to ask. Surgeries are a great way of doing it. And the hub, I think, that would identify the hub with residents of Bexhill even more so, because not a lot of them understand what it is or what it does.
I agree with you regarding the surgeries, and spent an afternoon there with then councillors Gibson and Baldry at Bexhill Station, and we recruited a new councillor in Councillor Thomas as a result of that meeting there. So it
works, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got its sort of positives. But I'd like to highlight the fact that we do have a number of events across the course of the year, one of which was the other day at the Christmas lights, and we had so few councillors attend. Now that is where you can communicate and engage with people. Bexhill Day is another one. The Remembrance Service to a certain degree is as well. And we do have a lack of councillors actually participating in any events that are taking place. And it's just so sad to have that happen, because that's the opportunity to be there selling the council, selling yourselves as well as councillors, and finding out what the people of Bexhill want from us. Councillor Byrne.
I was guilty of not attending the Christmas light switch on. I really did have a rotten cold. It was bordering on a fever. And as someone who had organised Christmas lights and the switch on event in previous years, I was really mortified that I couldn't come. So I'd like to put on record the fact that it wasn't through lack of motivation. It was lack of actually ability of attending an outdoor event in the evening at that point.
In no way were my comments directed as at an individual, but more or less over the course of the years.
I would support your comment in it's a shame more councillors don't turn up to the things we organise.
Yeah.
I think if I could say, Chair, it was Remembrance Sunday that I found disappointing, again, because I hobbled like anything on that day.
You do, yeah.
And there was about 7 councillors, and I believe our clerk put words out before, it was a councillor's civic duty to attend that, and there was less than half of us there.
Yeah.
And it is a civic duty. That's why I struggled through, because that's how important it was. And I don't know what else we can do. It's the same as photographs. And what residents think is that if councillors can't be bothered to turn up, why should I engage with it? So we have to all, and we all get situations with holiday, hospital appointments, blah, 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 that you can't always be there. But when you get less than half, it's, I don't know.
It's not less than half, if I may say. We've got 40 councillors in this town.
Yeah. So it was probably 25% at best.
14.
Okay, suffice to say this is one that's... Suffice to say that this particular subject will probably run and run, but we've got a basis with what the structure we have at the moment, and I think what we need to do is encourage our fellow councillors to participate fully within the structures that we've currently got.
Yeah.
So with your indulgence, I will move on to item 9, Bexhill-on-Sea Civic History Booklet. This was to update the booklet that was produced in the early 2000s, I believe, and just update it with our existence as a town council, and just another avenue of making people aware that we are about. The draft booklet will be received at the next meeting, so we look forward to see that at our February meeting. Item 10, Bexhill Day, this year 16th of August, and plans are underway, very, very similar to what happened in previous year, and we will get a bit more information on that come February going forward. Councillor Playgrove.
I just wondered, because I did raise this before, that the initial Bexhill Day many years ago used to be the event. It was the event, actually, in the town that raised money for causes, local causes. And I just pointed that out last time and asked if we were going to do anything like that so that we could, you know, do something similar.
The main charity, I think the only charity at the time that the Bexhill Day supported was the Bexhill Trust.
Yeah.
I believe that they've been lying dormant for a couple of years, but they are embarking on a reinvigorating campaign to sort of get it up and going.
Yeah.
Whether they decide to speak with us with a view to becoming involved in Bexhill Day, I've yet to see, but no doubt we will hear from them should they wish to do so. Item 11, Civic Awards and Annual Town Meeting. We've sort of touched on this a little bit in our previous conversations. The date for this is being looked into. It looks as if it's going to be the 29th of March. The venue, same venue, St Peter's Community Centre in the Old Town. And that's all I've got to say on that one at the moment. So moving forward to item 12, councillor training events. Sadly, we have a number of councillors that are outstanding some autism awareness training. Councillor Byrne, Councillor Hampton, Councillor Jacqueline, Councillor Thomas and Councillor Tempe. We've all been asked to follow this training, and so therefore duly noted that those councillors need to follow that up. Councillor Byrne.
First of all, apologies. I've been onto the website and looked, and it seemed to want me to join. I was obviously being incompetent, but it seemed to want me to join some training event or join a training group and receive messages from something. And then there was a paying for extra modules. I got confused by the whole thing. I had intended to go in and seek further information from Julie as to what I was doing wrong, but so I will hopefully do it within the next week, but I'm very aware that I'd left it a long while, but my first attempts were thwarted by the technology.
Okay. All right, to Councillor Wilson.
I have to say I did it early doors and I did have difficulties. I had to phone them up. So in accordance with what is going to be suggested to the photographic issue, could it be noted that councillors could go into the hub for assistance to do it? And could they target doing it by the end of the year? And put a timeline on it as to when it's got to be done by.
Possible?
I don't have any machines you can use. If you can bring your own device.
Okay, then
If the council can bring a device in,
Yeah.
and we can sit them at the front desk and we can get them logged in.
Yeah.
Can you send an email out to councillors about it? It will only have to go out to those.
Because it might be the case for many more councillors that it was a bit like that. When you tried to get in it, you thought, oh no, you know, I kept putting it off, but I'd done it. But people tend to don't like to say, I didn't quite understand that, so they just leave it.
Yeah,
I think that could have happened.
Okay, well, we've got a way forward, hopefully, to overcome that.
To encourage.
Excuse me. Item 13, Royal British Legion events. One of those events, the most important event of the year for them would be the Remembrance Service. And both Little Common and the Bexhill Remembrance Services went down very well. We've tweaked a few things in both of those sites, and we seem to have sort of smoothed things over a little bit with the logistical challenges that we faced. I don't know if anyone's got any other comments they wish to make. I'd like to thank Councillor Wilson. He has hinted that he had a great deal of difficulty on that particular day, and I was remarkably surprised by his dexterity given the closeness of the operation that he had. So well done.
And likewise, I thank you, Chair, for looking after the Deputy Lord Lieutenant afterwards, because I just couldn't keep going any longer. So thank you.
That was a pleasure, actually. Councillor Bird.
As an aside, I think we need to mention the poppy car, which I think is so unique and so good. And I did a couple of hour sessions, selling poppies and selling the various, merchandise, as it were. You raise a heck of a lot of money there, but the British Legion is just very well thought of in the town.
Yeah.
And the local British Legion organiser came round at regular intervals, making sure you had enough things in your tray to sell and all that. And our MP and our county councillors were there. Not that many councillors were there, but we've covered that.
Yeah.
But yes, the Royal British Legion events are very, very important, and especially as a town council, we should be very closely identified with them.
I don't believe we were asked as town councillors to assist selling poppies. I don't remember seeing an email myself.
No, it's something. There was a mislaid communications. They never arrived to us. We previous years we were always told, can you provide councillors?
Yeah.
And here's a rota, and we worked through it, and people signed up for it. It never came forward this year.
Okay.
So
It came to Rother district councillors, but I think it was one of those things that fell down the cracks between. It used to be organised by Rother, by one particularly enthusiastic person in Rother. It kind of devolved to the town council, but not in a formal sense. So we'd just make sure in future that the rota's publicised to everybody.
Yeah. Because it make it easier for everyone, the more they're involved.
Exactly.
My only other thought is the gentleman who was doing the speaking for British Legion in the Central Ward was quite quiet, and we either need to get some louder microphones or he needs to speak up, because there were people over the back who said afterwards they couldn't hear everything.
This uniqueness of the event is that although the event is organised by the town council, the service is specifically a Royal British Legion service that takes place, and so they're the individuals that choose who speaks on that, so we have no say in that matter. Councillor Baygrove.
So I would like to say that, I don't know, in years gone by I saw many more poppy sellers on the streets, and I didn't see as many this year. And even it was notable, even watching the TV and seeing people out and about, where they buy an enamel one or something like that online and don't realise the significance and the importance of actually buying the actual real poppies, the paper poppies. So I don't know whether people really think of that when they buy a poppy, what it's really for. And also, as I drove through Battle, it was quite lovely. They had poppies that big, plastic poppies, on lampposts, and it just looked so good and was a constant reminder, because unless you saw a lady selling poppies on the corner, some people might not even realise. And I think it would be lovely if we could get some of them one day, but yeah, it looked lovely.
Okay. Would you like to put a motion forward to for this council to look into purchasing a number of plastic poppies?
Yeah.
The problem being, if we did that, we then got to find someone to fix them and where to fix them.
They were. I did look at them. Someone had only put an ordinary ladder up and gone up there and put them on with a garden tie. They're quite easy.
Yeah, but we don't know how we can do logistically. But I think it's something we can explore.
Okay, I'll put the motion forward for that then.
Have you got a sort of wording on that? Yeah. Okay, we've got a seconder for that particular motion.
Just before you vote on it,
Yes.
plastic, we have a climate plan, is an alternative to plastic.
I'm sure that we are fine to look to see if there's an alternative, but as long as we can increase the awareness of the Poppy Day.
I agree, but I'm just not keen on having plastic, because
Quite agree with you. Quite agree with you.
They only
So-
come in plastic.
With that in mind, can we have a vote on that one to go forward with that? All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item 4. Oh, sorry, Councillor Byrne.
Two things. One, there were large plastic poppies on the poppy car, which is very visible to everyone driving through the town. Secondly, the things you buy online, the small badges, they are all sanctioned by the British Legion, and the profit does go to the British Legion.
Yes.
So they're not. It's not a channel that's taking away from the paper poppies.
No, I did
other
look
thing-
online and saw like this one, that one, and the other one selling like just lovely. They were lovely. They had the jewels in and all sorts. But I doubt if they were.
The other thing I was going to say was I was a bit disquieted. The service was very nice, and I always think there is a slight problem with a padre holding a service that sort of that talks about our glorious past and how we won wars. And I had a word with the parson afterwards, or the vicar afterwards, saying I was a bit disappointed he didn't manage to include anything about peace, because we've got wars going on all over the place, and I feel there was a missed opportunity, especially in the way that we've hosted, that Bexhill as a town has hosted Ukrainians and Romanians and various displaced persons. I was really quite disappointed there wasn't a message of peace within that service. I agree with, yes, people who carry arms and lay down their lives for the country, absolutely wonderful, but let's also talk about peace, please.
Duly noted. Thank you very much. Councillor Wilson?
I'm sorry. Is there a time scale how long the wreaths are left on the war memorial? Because they're still there now.
Yes.
Some 3 weeks on. I don't know what the time scale is. I'm just asking the question.
There is no time scale as far as I'm aware. In fact, when we were putting poppies onto the poppy car, we utilised the wreaths from the previous year to decorate the poppy car, and so they will be there for the year.
Really?
Unless the wind blows them away.
I didn't know that.
Moving on to item 14, community events. This is just to note that tenders are being sought for the Serpollet sculpture on Glyn Gap roundabout. So tenders are going out for that. So we'll be able to get that fed back hopefully in February for our next meeting. Item 15, Christmas lights, and to receive feedback on the Christmas lights. I think it was a spectacular evening. Councillor Blagrove.
So, as I said, I study social media quite a lot, and this year the general consensus was that it was much better than last year. People said that the tree looked lovely. They, in the main, liked the lighting, and especially the bits that said "Welcome to Bexhill," which I don't think we had up before. It looked like there were more people there than last year. And on the downside, of course, they were going to say this, that there weren't enough stalls. They'd expected more than that, but there's always room for improvement. But I think that I drove around there at night and I thought it looked very nice.
Yeah. On the subject of not enough stalls, there was a particular reason for that, and that's because the cut-off date from Rother was so far in advance, we had to turn people away. And when we asked Rother, can we just extend that date a little bit further, they refused. And so we had to turn at least half a dozen people away to say, sorry, we can't get the licence in.
And did we have 4 road closures? Were they really needed? 4? Was it 4 we had?
I can't remember how many road closures. On that particular aspect, what I'll do is I'll pass to the clerk here, because you should probably have a bit more of a logistical thought process on this than I did, because the clerk was the person that organised it all.
So you have to do the road closures because you've got one-way streets. So you can't, if you close, when you do a road closure, you have to allow enough room for vehicles to turn around if they come down. So, for example, you'd have to shut St Leonard's Road further up, because if you let somebody drive right down to where the road closure is, where the stalls are, they can't turn around.
Okay.
So you have to. So all those things are approved by the Highways Authority. So we send them a traffic management plan, and they tell us what roads we need to close, what signs we need to put up, and what marshalling we have to have. So all of that's done legally by East Sussex.
Thanks.
Are there any aspects of the event?
Me and Brian have been were the event organisers for the night at Lions, and we want to thank Brian because he really did a lot of really good work for us, was very supportive, and we were a good team. So we walked around as we were closing down to talk about what we might do next year and some of the things that we might do next year. Now we know we've got lots more time. We couldn't get the trader's licence because we were only found out we were doing it in, I think, September. So it's impossible. So to get the stallholders we got at such short notice, we're just really grateful. So now we know we can start working on that early next year. So we expect to get many more stalls, but what we'd like to do is just put them in Western Road. But in order to do that, we need to clear Western Road earlier. We had a lot of abuse and a lot of issues with residents that just wouldn't move their cars. So we think we'll have to do an overnight closure on Western Road in order to clear that out and have a market there in the day. A lot of businesses had been put off by joining in. There'd been a lot of rumours going around that were untrue. This year they've seen it, so they've seen what happens, and businesses have now come to us and said, actually, we'd like to be a part of it. So I think we'll have seen more stalls from existing businesses coming out into the street.
And I have seen many traders that I know to be traders, they've been at my event before, actually saying on there, I didn't know about it.
Yep, we advertise it, so we put it out on social media, website, we wrote out to traders, but we were only doing, if you remember, we talked about, I don't think you were at the meeting, we talked about what that event would be, and we said it would not be commercial. So we've not gone out deliberately, we've not got any rides, we've not got any catering that's outside of those shops that are in that road, apart from the waffles, because they wanted the waffles. So what we wanted to do was bring people into the local businesses to eat and drink, so Jemson's to the cafe for their coffees, teas, etc. We didn't want to do anything commercial. It was all about keeping everything within the
Will that change next year, do you think?
No,
You won't?
no.
So
We're going to, because the businesses that we've spoken to get some feedback are so grateful that they stayed open and they did really well. So we don't want to affect the income of our businesses on Devonshire Road or on Western Road because it's one of their biggest nights of the year potentially.
So are we saying that, so are we saying that next year they're likely to be the same amount of stall holders that they were this year?
No, so remember we were started so late that the deadline for the trader's licence was too late for us because we only started organising it literally a month before Christmas. And that's
so we will have commercial, it'll be more commercially based?
No, so what we'll be doing is speaking to, again, all the groups that were there.
I'll catch on in a minute, Terry, sorry.
The groups that wanted to be a part of it but couldn't because the trader's licence deadline had already passed and we couldn't get them in. And again, we'll go out online and to all our local residents, all our local businesses and ask them to come and be a part of it. So it's about Bexhill people coming and being a part of the event. So we'll do that. We said that way we can open Devonshire Road, which means we don't have to close St Leonard's because we can bring them down. We'll have to close Endwell because of the way that the one way has to operate for us to get in and out. But we thought that would be much more useful and it will keep the market all together in one place. There's a few issues with the power still. So St Leonard's Power, that's UK Power Networks. It's nothing that the town council can do. We just have to wait for them to repair things that have got waterlogged and all sorts of issues that you get with Christmas lights. We'd like to look at London Road because we looked at London Road in the initial planning stages but we didn't have enough budget to cover it. But now we've done some of the infrastructure repairs this year, we think we might have some budget left over next year that we can start to look at London Road. The Welcome to Bexhill signs are the original ones that we've revamped, so they've come out really well. We've still got one of those that we could put in London Road if we make that work. So they're kind of like the main points really. So we'd like to, and with the square, now that we see how that is laid out, we'd like to create a bit more of a red carpet area in front of the Christmas tree, make it a bit more plush. And perhaps we need to look at the PA system. Our PA system is not adequate for that kind of size event. It's adequate for a forum event, but it's not adequate for thousands of people outside. So we're going to have a look at that and see if we can hire something in to make the sound better. But otherwise, the feedback is that's what we wanted. We wanted local people delivering a bit of local family entertainment where you didn't have to put your hands in your pocket to pay for anything particular. So in the whole, that's where we're going.
Councillor Beck.
I think we should put it on record from this meeting that the staff did a wonderful job. Though I wasn't there, I've had nothing but positive feedback. And I really like the idea, as you say, Julie, encouraging it to be family-based, not commercially based. You don't have to think, if you're taking 2 kids into the town, oh God, how much is that going to cost me? Maybe some food stalls, but the close negotiation with local businesses and make sure they're not disadvantaged in any way, I think is very important. And I think you did a good job.
Yeah, one of the local...
On that note, I'm afraid I'll have to crave your indulgence because I do have to leave.
Okay. Will you still call it?
Thank you.
Just on that note about the success that the local businesses had, we had one business there that took more money on that particular night than they've ever taken before, and they really sort of relished the opportunity of next year and having an increased footfall for next year as well. So I think it's something to build on. Councillor Wilson.
I just want to say I get really frustrated with people saying I didn't know it was on. Councillor Hussaini walked up and down Western Road, up and down Devonshire Road, spoke to lots of people, including a couple who'd come down from Crawley and 2 had come down from Horsham. And I said, how did you know about it? And they went, we Googled what's on in Bexhill and the date. So if residents really can't find out what's going on by looking at what's on the town council, what's being sent out on social media, what's in the press generally, I find it astonishing in today's age. And then you see people locally advertising events in Battle and Eastbourne are on the same night to dissuade people from coming down here. This is our town. The people that are in the stalls should be organisations within this town, not bringing them in as a commercial enterprise. It should be our town, celebrating our time and turning on our tree. And I thought the whole evening was very, very good. I couldn't really find anything sensationally wrong with it. It will evolve, and from what I'm hearing, there's more businesses that want to get involved next year, so it will evolve and it will grow. But you've got to start somewhere, and this year was where it really started, I think. So well done, Julie and her team, as I said in the email that I sent out. Bearing in mind the time that was permitted to do it. Excellent job.
Okay. Councillor Blagrove.
Just to say that people do, people do go to other events outside of the town, and you'll never stop that. That's what they want to do. This week I've had people putting in events for New Year into the filters for Eastbourne. And there again, some people might like to go to Eastbourne just because they live in Bexhill. It doesn't mean that they're going to stay in Bexhill, and that goes for all towns. People have a right to move around. With advertising, I would say, because for 25 years I've been doing advertising for different events, you can never get to everybody. I used to do the radio and think, oh wow, everyone's bound to be tuned into this radio station. They're not. They don't buy the newspapers. People don't buy the newspapers anymore. Sometimes you just don't see a stand with, the local papers on, and you cannot get to everybody. So it's nice to think, Councillor Wilson said just now that people came from Croydon, and so that's good. So people do move around, and you can never do enough advertising. You see?
Okay. Moving on now. Item 16, motions from councillors. There are none. Correspondence. There has been none. Questions from councillors, and that question has been answered on the agenda paper there, and we spoke of earlier on. 18B, to receive questions from councillors for any future agenda items. Have we got any questions that anyone wishes to put forward? Therefore, we move to the date of the next meeting, which is the 5th of February, and this meeting is closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Chair.